Cheyenne, Cheyenne, where will you be camping tonight? Lonely man, Cheyenne, will your heart stay free and light? Free.
You know, I hate to say it, but boy, thinking back on those periods, I really miss it. Clint Walker, how are you, my friend?
Mark Levin, one of our greatest patriots and finest constitutionalists.
Oh, good Lord.
And one of my heroes.
Well, thank you, as you are mine. Don't you kind of miss that period, honestly?
I think a lot of people do, Mark. It's indicative of a time where people felt a lot more secure, not near the frustrations and all. And also, I think it was a time when the programs on TV were, family programs, and they had something of consequence to say. And I think this is why people are going back to watching Gunsmokes and Mavericks and Cheyennes and whatever.
No, I think that's absolutely right. The Cheyenne shows were just so terrific. You know, you sent me a box of those copies of the show, which I've played over and over and over again, you know.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy them. I'll send you some more.
Now, what's your website again? And Mr. Producer, let's slap this up on our social site and website, too.
Well, it's just ClintWalker.com.
ClintWalker.com. It's a great website for people who want to take a look or looking for gifts or just looking to, to feel good about your country. And I think that's what's missing right now. People love their country, but they're really disgusted with what goes on in their government.
And this is why we have the Tea Party movement, and I think that T should stand for truth. That's what people are looking for. They want the truth about why they're trying to take our Constitution away from us and why they're doing the things that they're doing that are destroying our country and our economy. And I think these are just good backbone of America, tax-paying people that know there's something wrong, and they want to know what it is, and they're banding together to try to do something about it.
Now, so you're a big supporter of the Tea Party movement. You like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you met Tea Party folks? You know, you travel from time to time, and
well, yes, we do, and I've also met a lot of folks. Now, we just finished a show in Scottsdale, a Western show, and gosh, I had a lot of people saying, I heard you on the Mark Levin show.
Really? Well, that's always good, isn't it?
Well, I think so. And, of course, a lot of those people are conservative people. And that's why they have such a attachment to the West and the Western way of life, and the way people, in those days people had some morals, and they were, an awful lot of them were concerned about, if you shook hands with somebody on a deal, that was it. You stuck by it. You kept your word.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of? Since last I spoke to you, we've probably spent another $1 trillion or $2. How are we going to? I mean, it's not really fair to ask you that. How are we going to get out of this mess? I guess we just have to keep electing conservatives and taking out those people politically who claim to be conservative but don't vote conservative.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and also I think we have to educate a lot of people who kind of got lost and not quite aware of some of the things that are going on, and we have to try to educate them as to what can be done, what has to be done, what's happening, and why we have to put a stop to it. And I think Newt Gingrich said the other night, we don't have a commander-in-chief. Instead, we have a What the devil did?
What did he say? I remember. He's got a.
We have a.
What did he say, Mr. Producer?
Yeah.
We don't have a commander-in-chief. We have a something like a spectator. That was a spectator.
Spectator-in-chief, and I'd like to add to that. Instead of a commander-in-chief, we have a spectator-in-chief, and we don't have a president. We have a resident in the White House.
Now, wait a minute. You're sounding like Jesse Jackson now. You're speaking in rhymes, you know.
Well, whatever it is, it seems to be apropos to the situation there. And, I said once before, and I think there's so much truth to it, if you want to know what someone is really like, never mind what they say, watch their actions. That'll tell you more about who and what they are than anything they can say. And this man is... I'll swear, seems like everything he does is a detriment to this country and the people, and is bringing us further and further down. And this is why we have the Tea Party people. This is why we have a lot of concerned conservatives, and this is why we're going to have to get more conservatives in the Congress and in the Senate. And I guess that's the only way we can do it. But more and more people, I think, are becoming aware of this, and I think come 2012, that'll speak for itself.
All right, let me ask you a question that's not related to politics here.
Yeah.
Do you ever see some of your old buddies that you either acted with or were friends with in the Hollywood days?
Well, now at the show this time, there was James Stacy, the guy that lost, the actor that lost an arm and a leg on a motorcycle accident. And there was Bill Smith, Bob Fuller, Dan Haggerty, the guy that was doing Grizzly Adams.
Oh yeah.
And boy, what a guy he is! I spent about 2 hours with him one evening. Very interesting fella. And then there was...
now, wait a minute. Is he he's a big guy, too, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. And he was quite an athlete. And at one time, he was a lifeguard at one of the big casinos there in Vegas when I was at the same time, I was a deputy sheriff at the Sands.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You were a deputy sheriff at the Sands? I didn't know that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's how I got my break. One Saturday night, which usually very busy, Van Johnson, who was appearing in a show there, came up to me and said, "I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but one of Hollywood's biggest agents, Henry Wilson, is here, and he'd like to talk to you." And I thought, well, I'm here, I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings. I said, sure, I'll talk to him. And I did, and he gave me his card, and he said, "You'd have to move to Hollywood so that we could do interviews during the day, and I can't promise you anything." And that's what motivated me to move back to Hollywood and give it a whirl. But it's funny, it really happened without much help from him, and that's another story again.
We're out of time. I definitely have to have you back because you always fascinate me, particularly with some of your history about Hollywood and how it functions. But there's a lot about you I still don't know, and if you don't mind, a little more frequently, I'd like to bring you back. Is that okay?
I'm always very honored to come on your show, and I'd like to say one more thing, if I have the time to say it.
Yes, sir.
I think the only way that we're going to win this battle, and it is a battle, is with God's help. And I'd like to tell a little story about, I have a cousin by the name of Jerry Walker who at one time lived in Alaska, had a trading post there, and was also a bush pilot, and very good bush pilot. And he was coming home from a trip one afternoon, and he got a radio report that there was a huge storm coming in, and he knew that he had to go around a big range of mountains to make it home, and he wouldn't have time to do it. He'd have to sit down in the wilderness and let that storm catch him. Now, he knew he couldn't fly over this range. It was too high. But there was a canyon in the middle of it. It was steep and very narrow and winding, but it was possible to fly through it, but very dangerous. So he decided to fly through it. He got about halfway and got hit by a whiteout, couldn't see anything. And immediately he thought, well, me and the plane are going to wind up on the canyon wall, and probably people will never know what happened to us. And then a voice said, follow the compass headings that I give you. And it gave him compass headings for about 4 minutes until the whiteout disappeared, and he was able to fly out and make it home. Now, Jerry doesn't lie. He's a quiet guy, but when he says something, you can count on it. But this is one of many stories that I've heard that I call, I'd like to write a book sometime, Beyond Coincidence.
Mm-hmm. So you believe God's invisible hand?
Oh, no doubt about it, in my mind.
Well, Clint, I hate that I got to go because I need to do a commercial.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you something. You're fascinating. I really enjoy talking to you. You know, I've always enjoyed your acting too, and we're going to have you back soon. Okay?
I'm always honored to be on your show.
Well, it's my great pleasure. Mention your website again. Go ahead.
Oh, that's just ClintWalker.com, and God bless all you folks out there, and we'll win this one with God's help.
All right. God bless you. The great Clint Walker. Very decent guy off the air, too. Just terrific.